Did you feel unsafe as an amateur MMA fighter in Ontario?
No, definitely not.
As a kid in Central Florida, I took karate at a community rec center. As an adult, I participated in the 4-day invitational-only kumite. Fighters from around the world were gathered. Losers were smoked over a bed of mesquite and cherry wood, served at a feast to the god of human misery, Molech, ever his vengeful eyes cast upon us. All right, that story might not have been entirely true, but what is undeniable is on July 1st, 2017, the Ontario government banned amateur MMA, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and grappling competition. I'm Sean with Torch Media. We're about to go talk to the boys of CK Combat about their fight for the right to fight.
All right, so tell me a little bit about what is your history with fighting?
I've done boxing and Thai boxing and kickboxing and a bunch of self-defense classes. I have a black belt in Kung Fu. I've just been training like pretty much half my life.
So what are your feelings towards the ban on amateur MMA competitions in Ontario?
Well, don't really like it because my friends can't do what they want to do. They have dreams and want to do stuff with it. I just liked helping them and going to the places with them.
Right. And alternatives. So if we can't compete here in Ontario, where can our fighters compete then?
They could travel even further away to do it, but that would be, for an amateur fight, would be kind of costly.
You hit something very specific there when you said amateur fight. These are not professional fights. The fighters are not getting paid very well, are they?
Well, they don't get paid. They have their room covered and their meals covered and the travel expenses covered, but they're not fighting to win any money. They're fighting to say they won, or they could win a trophy, or they could win a belt or a medal, whatever the event's given. Sometimes they don't give you nothing to fight. You just get to say you won.
So I've won four total. That's my buddy Steve's belts, and a collection of us. Me and him got about 8 belts between us. Bunch of trophies, We've had a couple wars. He's been fighting for 6-7 years. I've only been doing it for about 2 in the cage. So yeah, we got a bunch of accomplished titles here in the MMA amateur world. So we've been tearing it up in the last 2 years or so.
So you're no stranger to a fight then?
Oh no, not at all. They call me the pit bull for a reason. I like a dog fight.
But now we're in a different kind of fight because you need to fight to the right to fight.
Yeah, the right to fight. As you know, the amateur MMA has been banned. I think in July it got banned, and we're just struggling to get the government to jump on board with us.
So is there an end to the ban in sight?
From what I've been told, talking to the people that I always dealt with in ammo, to what we need to do to get it allowed to be able to fight in Ontario. And the lady I talked to told me that best case scenario could be January 2018, worst case January 2019. And in order to be allowed to fight again, we need the committee that oversees the Olympics to deem us an actual sport. And then once we have their okay, we have to take it to the IMAFF, I believe. And then we have to get them to deem us as a sport. But the person who runs the IMAFF is someone that used to be involved in MMA, who kind of got kicked out of the MMA world and doesn't really like us to begin with. So the Olympic committee's one hoop, and then we have this other hoop with the second committee with the guy that doesn't even want us doing MMA anymore to begin with.
So it's an uphill battle, and I imagine there's a lot of fees with all of those applications.
Oh, I don't know about the money side of it, but I imagine dealing with anything with the Olympics is a lot of money. And then the IMFAF, they always cost money even just to register a fighter. So I imagine to try to register a whole sport's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I have to agree with you there. I assume you would want to go professional.
I do within the next year. I've had about 16 fights, and Ontario is just climbing with all these fighters. They got a mass majority of good fighters here. You got all these top-notch guys, and you got to start somewhere. So, we need this amateur MMA to build the stepping stones, or these guys just push to go pro too quick, too fast, and that's how they get injured. Guys that I know just had five fights in the ring, and he just jumped pro, and I don't think he was ready, and he got devoured in his first pro fight. So, if there's a safety concern, that's where it is. Like, take an amateur out and letting these guys jump pro, like when they're not ready to be in that pro facility.
No, so that makes a perfect point. They're jumping into the pro level when they're not ready, so they need an amateur place to fight so that they have the opportunity to develop as a fighter. We need a amateur MMA field for fighters to develop, otherwise they're going to become stepping stones in the UFC for bigger fighters, correct?
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's the fear of any time you take a pro fight is, as an amateur, you're not gonna run into the Mike Tysons, and I mean, granted, Mike Tyson started as an amateur too, everybody did, but you don't take your first fight against that guy.
And there's a level of brotherhood and respect that goes on within the ring, correct?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, these people are your family, especially the people you train with. You're putting in time with them. You're sweating, you're bleeding. They're there working with you. So, yeah, they become your brothers for sure.
So what do you think is the reason behind the ban on amateur MMA in Ontario?
I think we can't gain the PSO because mostly the safety. I think the way they see it is it's not safe enough.
As a fighter, your health is your most important asset. What did the local officials do to make sure that fighters were protected?
Well, we always have fighter meetings. We explain the rules, we explain what's allowed, we explain what's not. They reiterate the fact that we all have jobs to do. We all have children to go home to, well, most of us, and we're not looking to hurt each other. It's a competition. It's supposed to be competitive, but we're not there to hurt and maim and kill.
You experience it too, even if you have a fight where you don't get TKO'd, you don't get submitted, you just have a fight. What is it, 60 day?
No, it's a 5-day suspension.
Is it 5?
5? No, 7. Maybe 7.
If you get beat, 14.
No, 4. Yeah,
14.
So you get beat, it's 14.
yeah.
No injury.
So they're always looking out for you guys,
Yeah.
constantly.
And it was the ammo organization, who is like the insurance people that run all this. They get the doctors. They hand out suspensions. If you get TKO, it's what, 30?
Yeah.
30-day suspension. If you get submitted, it's 14 days. If it goes to decision, it's 7 days. You just can't fight back to back. You can't fight in Ontario if you have that suspension, and they all know because AMMO is the one that organizes everything with safety and everything. So it's pretty secured safety-wise, like medical. And it's, like I said, it's just like any other sport, contact sport. Football, you see all these concussions. Do you think they're banning amateur football?
As of mid-January 2018, the ban is still in effect. It doesn't take a fool to tell you that the road to becoming a professional fighter is filled with obstacles. But then one just did. The Ontario government ripped that road out. I can't tell you if it's about a personal vendetta, money, health, or safety, but I can tell you can go get your head kicked in right now at an amateur kickboxing, Muay Thai, or karate competition. I want to wish the boys at CK Combat a lot of luck. This is Sean with Torch Media. I'll see you later.